Minecraft Live announced something incredible. A brand new mob. Well, kinda new. The Happy Ghast. And no, it's not just a regular ghast that's had a lobotomy or something. No, it's an entirely new mob. Instead of the emo, crying ghasts we're used to, we now also have ghasts that are happy and smile. Okay, the mob is cute and pretty cool, but how you find them is even more remarkable. They don't spawn naturally. Instead, you have to go to the soul sand valleys in the Nether, as this is the only place you can find these guys. Or rather, this little guy, the Dried Ghast. When I first saw this thing, it looked like a dead cat, seal, or something equally depressing. But no, it's just a shriveled-up ghast. The weirdest thing about the Dried Ghast is that it's not even a mob. It's a block. You can punch it with your bare hands, with the whole breaking animation to pick this dried little thing up. Once you have it, you must take it back to the overworld. And I guess it was just really thirsty, because once you're in the overworld, you need to soak it in some water for 20 real-life minutes, which is an entire in-game day. After some green sparkles and the dried up thing smiling, it gets rehydrated and becomes a ghastling. Give it even more time and it will grow up, and before you know it, boom, a rideable Happy Ghast. Okay, now that we know how to get it, we need to understand its backstory and answer the age-old, 6-day-old question. What's the lore of the Dried Ghast? The first clue is where we find the Dried Ghast. As I said, you only find them in the spooky soul sand valleys. But not just that, you only find them next to the nether fossils that appear in this biome. And if you thought mining them was weird, you can also craft this mob. This wasn't shown during Minecraft Live, but Cubfan, a member of the Hermitcraft server, confirmed it with Mojang. You can craft a Dried Ghast with just bone blocks and ghast tears. This tells us that it isn't really a living thing, but it's more like a fossil itself. Speaking of fossils, the fact that the Dried Ghast is exclusively found nestled beside nether fossils has gotta mean something, right? This is where my brain absolutely went into overdrive. Think about it. All the nether fossils we find have in-game descriptions, and it's so bizarre. They're always ribs or sternums, which, let's be real, sternums are just more rib. Where are the skulls, the legs, and the arms? Nowhere. Now, look at the ghast. It's this massive, floating blob that even has visible rib-like structures. You could argue they're part of the gills, but even the ghastling shows these lines alongside its underdeveloped gills. Ghasts are essentially giant torsos made of flesh and bone with a prominent rib cage, so it's hard to ignore the connection. I believe these fossils are the skeletal remains of giant, ancient ghasts. And the Dried Ghast? It's the actual deceased ghast itself, having dried out and deflated like the balloon Mojang says it is, leaving behind its internal bone structure, which then fossilized over time. This means that the Dried Ghast is some sort of ghast fossil in a hibernation cocoon state, which is further supported by the fact that water can bring it back to life. Now, hold on a sec. Why am I saying the Dried Ghast is a ancient, shriveled up ghast, and not just a baby that's frozen near its mom's bones? Good question. Well, there are actual baby ghast pets in Minecraft dungeons. They're all see-through with a little heart beating inside, and the Dried Ghast looks nothing like that. It's all solid and shrunken, like a full-grown ghast that's just really thirsty. So yes, the Dried Ghast is definitely not a baby. Plus, the fact that this mob can be crafted is mind-boggling. Bone blocks obviously reinforce the idea that these Dried Ghasts are fossilized, and because you can craft regeneration potions with ghast tears, this suggests that ghast tears do have some life force. Maybe the combination of these ancient ghast remains in the form of bone blocks and the regenerative power of ghast tears allows us to not only find these Dried Ghasts, but potentially even recreate them. And get this, ghast tears are required to revive the Ender Dragon. That shows us that ghasts and their tears have serious regenerative powers, making it totally believable that you can bring a fossilized Dried Ghast back to life with just water. There is something I haven't mentioned though. Another way to turn the ghasts from sad to happy. And that's if you subscribe, if you want more videos like this. Not only should you hit that subscribe button, but you should also join my Discord server. Because yes, I just launched my very own Minecraft server for the community. Plus, if you share your own ideas there, you might be featured in one of my future videos. just like these guys. Okay, now that we know more about them, why do these dried ghasts become happy and not violent flamethrowers when they grow up? And even more importantly, why are their game mechanics completely different from regular ghasts? Dried ghasts that become happy have no tears, which is like the regular ghast's whole thing. And if you think the ghast's mood is the only thing that changes, their whole biology seems different too. An article by Mojang says regular ghasts love heat, swim through lava like a hot tub, and are completely immune to fire. Happy ghasts? Nope. They'll fly right into lava and, well, not be so happy anymore. They do not have that heat resistance, and instead of fireballs, they're all about snowballs. And yes, you can feed them the snowballs. I mean, one thing's for sure, all ghasts love balls. So why the big differences? Well, Mojang made a post about the Soul Sand Valley, mentioning it used to be a much richer ecosystem, hence the fossils. I think the Soul Sand Valley was probably way more chill, literally and figuratively, with plants, vegetation, food, and even water, when the Nether wasn't the fiery hellscape it is now. Perhaps the very reason we find soul sand there today, with its trapped souls, is a tragic testament to a mass extinction event that occurred when the environment shifted. It might have been the only livable spot in the Nether, explaining why it's the only Nether biome where we can find fossils, as it's the only place stuff lived and, died. This also explains why the Soul Sand Valley is so different from other Nether biomes. Blue flames, no piglins, just ghasts, endermen, and skeletons. It was a Nether paradise back then, and guess who lived there? The Happy Ghasts. As mentioned, these prehistoric Happy Ghasts are the owners of those fossils, and the Dried Ghast is basically a fossilized, dried up one of them. When you soak it in water, something it probably used to drink in the old Soul Sand Valley, it returns to life and grows again. Because it's an ancient ghast, it's not used to the heat, prefers snowballs, and lets you ride it. This also explains why normal ghasts are so miserable. The Nether probably got super hot. The beautiful Soul Sand Valley containing water and life turned into a desolate wasteland. And since the plants and water dried out, so did the ghasts. And the few ghasts that did survive had to adapt. They became fireproof and traded their love for snowballs for a taste of fire. They lost their home and now live in literal hell. So yeah, that's probably why they evolved to be sad now. Considering the uneasy alliance advancement in this context is interesting. This achievement, which predates the Happy Ghast, has this description: rescue a ghast from the Nether, bring it safely home to the overworld, and then kill it. The use of the word rescue strongly suggests that the ghast is in an environment it doesn't want to be in. While this could apply to other Nether mobs, the fact that it's specific to the ghast hints at a deeper desire to leave the fiery dimension for a more habitable place like the overworld, mirroring the lush Soul Sand Valley of the past and the happiness of the Happy Ghast. But hey, at least we can save one little dude from the Nether and give it a good life. It does make you wonder though, was the Nether once a beautiful, lava-free jungle? Were there other chill creatures living there? Well, maybe we'll find out more someday. But for now, I'm just happy we get a Happy Ghast buddy. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like and please do subscribe. Thanks for watching!